Well, shaking people. Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran. Once again, I wanted to give a shout out to all the people who've given me access to some of their Duran Duran's bonus tunes and sort of, B-sides and rarities that are not included on some of their studio albums that I've acquired. Izzy, as I keep mentioning, but again, Philip and Seb recently have given me some access to tunes, so I'm still in the process of going through everything, and obviously I'm going to finish going through the proper studio albums that I have, but eventually there's going to be a lot of bonus tracks, and a number of people have contributed to that already, so thank you to you all. Shout out to Mark. Started following my channel for reactions I don't think related to Duran Duran. It's some of the punk rock ones and so on, but he's a vinyl collector and an old school music lover, and apparently he's going to send me a Duran Duran record, so shout out to you. I mean, just, what has happened in relation to the Duran Duran reactions just constantly really makes me happy and sort of fulfilled, and ultimately makes me want to keep doing these videos and enjoying them as it happens. So anyway, we're up to another bonus tune, and this is a bonus tune from the Wedding album, their 1993 self-titled album, and it was the second one in the batch that Izzy sent me, and it's a tune called Stop Dead. Which, as a title, I'm interested by it. It speaks to a sudden halt. Expressions exist such as "stop dead in your tracks," which relates to freezing because continued trespassing or movement may cause negative attention or punishment or lethal consequences. Excuse me. But yeah, ultimately it's a phrase that speaks to a very quick cessation of whatever activities that you're up to. Now, of course, that is itself sort of a metaphor in relation to death, right? Like if you are killed, if your biological processes, the beating of your heart and your respiratory, say that 3 times fast, respiratory system ceases to function, then you will indeed stop moving. You will cease to move on your own anyway. So yeah, it's a phrase that is used as a sort of colloquial idiom or metaphor, but it is itself based on a sort of natural kind of biological understanding that living creatures tend to move around. Obviously plants, it's complicated, and trees and so on, but they do stretch toward the light, don't they? But yeah, ultimately dead creatures tend to not move and not breathe. So yeah, it's a phrase that I think could manifest in a couple different ways, either more representative and symbolic, or more literal and dire perhaps. So yeah, we'll have to see, the context in which someone or something is stopping dead and what that means relative to what they were doing right up until that moment. So yeah, that's what the lyrics or the title makes me think of. Again, none of these title speculations are in any way meant to be indicative of what we're about to hear necessarily, but I do enjoy getting my brain thinking about themes and semantics as I approach a song. And again, a number of you have commented that it's not the worst thing in the world, so shout out to all of you. I know Philip and Ron, I think Izzy, a number of you have commented that just keep doing what you're doing. So I am going to continue to do that, and shout out to all of you, even if you haven't commented, even if you're just enjoying the videos. So yeah, let's get to it. This is Duran Duran, Stop Dead. The second bonus track I have in a bunch of, how many are there in this? Let me see. There are 6 here, including an acoustic version of Ordinary World. Believe me when I tell you, I cannot wait to get to that. So a few more to go before we get to that particular bonus track, but I'm very excited. In any case, let's do this one, Stop Dead, a bonus track from the Wedding album, 1993 by Duran Duran. Whoa. Wow, this is 93? Sounds like it could be mid to late 90s, has that kind of Dust Brothers, or it's like a breakbeat, but it's got some electricity. It's West End Junction. tight and like groovy. Okay. Maybe it's a command, like stop dead in your tracks, like I don't want to lose sight of you. Woo. Smooth, like silky traversing of those melodic layers. I feel like this tune wouldn't be entirely out of place on Notorious. I know that's several years before this, but it's kind of giving me Notorious vibes. Oh, in his tracks. So okay, so he's like going through his life and then boom, like who is this? I can't lose sight of this person. Oh, sort of like virus in the system sort of interlude. But yeah, so maybe it's about like someone coming into your field of view that just instantly captures your attention. Oh. Scramble your mental and like physiological systems. Oh. You're in the targeting system. Yeah, it's got like some brass, like in the middle of it. It's got a funky groove. You've got Simon like elegantly caressing the notes of his singing, just like. Maybe she's stopping in her tracks too. It's one of those like saw each other across a crowded lifeline in their lifetime. It does feel like it's bi-directional, like, you know, you have a female voice saying it and Simon's voice saying it, and it's like it feels like this melodic dance, like it's, you know, they're zeroing in on each other, they are hypnotized by each other. So maybe it's unidirectional, but it felt like by the end, especially through the use of that kind of call and response male-female vocal, that it was suggesting that it was sort of like a double entrancement. But yeah, let me know, you know, if I'm on to something there with the interpretation that I think by the second half of the tune seemed apparent, or if it's, you know, more complicated, there are details that I'm not appreciating. Do let me know. And like I said, sonically, you know, I stand by the fact that, you know, even though it's like, what, 7 years after Notorious, it feels like the kind of funky, groovy, kind of, you know, bass and brass popping tune that you might have found on Notorious. So again, it's interesting that this is a bonus track from the Wedding album. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's cool. It had a funk to it. There was that cool interlude where there was like a kind of like, you know, virus computer sort of layer, which gave the overall section a bit of dissonance, a bit of like, you know, you're like slightly off of like where you should be, so to speak. Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed that. And as I said, I'm looking forward to the rest of these bonus tracks, but in particular, I'm keen to hear the instrumental mix of Ordinary World, which is, you know, my apologies to Simon Le Bon. It's not that I don't want to hear your voice, and man, it's just singing incredible in that song. Just go watch my second reaction to it. I reacted to it like way early, like it was like the third, I think, Duran Duran reaction I did. maybe the fourth or something like that. But yeah, I then came back to it with a little more Duran Duran experience under my belt, and once I started to go through the Wedding album proper, and that was a more enriching and profound experience. So yeah, go check the second video that I did of that song if you're interested. But yeah, it's not that I don't want to hear Simon's voice. It's that if they made an instrumental mix, it's like some of the sonics will stand out even more, I imagine, because they're kind of isolated. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what you think of this one. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.